All right, focus camera, please. Focus, focus. There you go. All right. So we are going to solve this exercise over here. We have a quadratic equation, and we want to solve it in the complex number system. So hopefully our solution is going to have to include some I somewhere, all right? This is how we do it. First, we recognize that this is a quadratic equation, meaning we are going to have to use the quadratic formula, all right? Quadratic formula being this one, x equals to, let me write it over here. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c over 2a. Now, what are these bunch of letters? The a, the b, and c are the coefficients of our equation. A, b, and c. A being the coefficient of the x squared, so the 8. B the coefficient of the x, in other words, negative 4. And c the constant value, meaning 1. All we have to do is put these numbers inside our little formula, put it in a calculator, or use the calculus, the calculations in our minds, and we have our solution. So if we do that right here, we have x equals negative b, meaning negative 4, right? Double negative. Because of the formula, we have 1, and because of the number, we have another one. So we have double negative. Here we have plus or minus the square root of b squared. So we have negative 4 squared minus 4 times a. A is 8. And c, which is 1. All of that over 2 times a. So 2 times 8. Beautiful. If we solve this, we are going to have x equals to positive 4 plus or minus, and this is the root of 16, right? 16. And over here we have 4 times a times 1. This is 32. In other words, 16 minus 32. So we have negative 16, right? Negative 16. All of that over 2 times 8, which is 16 again. Okay. Now, how do we solve this? As I said from the beginning, since we are working this equation in the complex number system, then we know maybe one of these numbers is going to have the letter I, our imaginary unit, right? And it is going to appear right from here. The square root of negative 16. This square root will be 4 plus and minus, and the square root of negative 16 will be 4i, the letter I, the imaginary unit, right? Before we knew about this imaginary unit, we couldn't solve the square root of 16. We couldn't. There was no way for us to solve this equation because roots of negative numbers didn't exist. Roots of negative numbers didn't really exist. We didn't know, but now we know how. The I is gonna be the square root of negative 1. From here, let's split the denominator, right? Split it, separate it if you wish, and we'll see the real answer. From here, I don't have enough space, so I'm gonna make a little line and take it all the way to this corner. So if we split our fractionary, we have the 16, we will have the 16 under this 4 and also the 16 all under this other 4. So the solution will be x equals 4 over 16 plus or minus, remember, plus or minus is the sign here, so we are going to carry the sign, plus or minus 4 over 16i. 4 over 16i. Now, we can do some simplifications in here. We can simplify this, and we can also simplify this, right? If we simplify, the solutions will be x equal to 1 over 4. 1 over 4. This is the simplification of 4 over 16. Plus or minus 1 over 4i. Now, from here, what do we do? Well, since we have a plus and a minus, we have two signs. That means we are going to have two solutions. So let me write it like this. Solutions. We are going to have two, right? So we have our first solution and our second solution. We have two solutions. The first solution will be with one of the signs. the positive or the negative, and the second solution with the other sign. So let me do the first one with the positive. We have 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4i. The first solution, this is a plus sign. Then the second solution will be with the negative sign because we just use the positive. This is a 4. There you go. 4. Now, 1 over 4 minus 1 over 4i. The second solution, we have 2, remember. Since we are talking about a quadratic equation, we are going to have 2 solutions. And the beauty about this is that since the solutions are complex numbers, right? They have the imaginary unit. The answer is the conjugate of each other. Look, number 2 is the conjugate of number 1. Number 1 is the conjugate of number 2. How beautiful is that? All right, guys. Remember, if you have any more questions, you can always ask me. These will be the 2 solutions. These will be the 2 solutions. And you guys have 4 minutes for your quiz, right? So take the do this as fast as possible. I want to say I'm here for you guys if you want to ask me more. Thank you.